Our film is bigger than Bolsonaro. It's not a response to him, but it's obviously this is a film that, and it's probably one of the first cultural products of the Brazilian art environment that's obviously in contrast to the group that seized power in Brazil. And as you can see, the differences are what happened in 1964, the coup d'etat of 1964, and the armed struggle and the resistance in back then is not that different from the resistance that we are having to have in Brazil right now. So it's of course it's a film about the ones who resisted back then, but it's also a film about the ones who are resisting right now in Brazil. And when I say that, I'm talking about LGBT community, black people from the favelas, native Brazilian people, all the people that are that will for sure have a lot of problems with this particular government.
For me, first of all, it's a huge pleasure represent Brazil in the festival, especially in the movie. I'm a huge fan of that guy, the Wagner Moura, because I've always watching his work, and I'm completely fascinated what he's doing, or he's transformed. Always I desire to work with him, but when he told me he made his first movie like a director and invited me to do this special guy and a Brazilian story, I feel honored, and I'm putting all my soul and all my love inside this project. And to have this, first of all, it's so much relevancing, and accept and agree us is something that means a lot for me. And yes, I'm so glad to get that opportunity. That's a big day.
There are people that love Marighella in Brazil, some people hate him, but I think most people don't even know who he is. And that is not by chance. It is a very old and very successful project in Brazil of not talking about its history. The history of Brazil, especially in private schools. We talk a lot about the French Revolution, but we don't talk anything about the revolutions of the black people in Brazil. So not knowing who Marighella is, it's on purpose. It's a project. And the crazy thing is that in the last years, this has been disorganized again, thanks to the black students, the teachers, the professors, the black movement in Brazil. The history of Brazil was being talked about. And now, those that come on stage are criminalizing the country's history. The teachers are already being persecuted, and they're being watched for discussing history. So this film is very important right now because of this political moment. It's an invitation to take a more complex look at the country.
Listen, it's going to be really hard to release this film in Brazil, because we are going to face a strong opposition. It's about narratives. You know, this narrative in Brazil, it's already starting to change. People are already starting to talk about it wasn't the coup d'etat of '64. It was the movement of '64. So there is a semantic change already going on in Brazil, which when you study the history of all the fascist governments in history, they always start with that, criminalizing art, critical thinking, and changing the semantic of the words. So you create an environment where everything kind of becomes natural. You know, so this film is here to say that yes, it was horrible. Dictatorship existed and was horrible. It was bad, and there were people that were brave enough to fight against it.
Our distributor doesn't know when the film's going to be launched. They think the moment is not adequate. We think it's totally adequate. We would like to launch it right after Berlin. we're going to fight for it. And if necessary, we're going to do an independent launch of the film through crowdfunding, maybe, for launching the film. We want to release it in Brazil for sure.
The Brazilian state is racist. You know, Marighella was killed in '69, a black man, a revolutionary, a left-winger. He was killed by the state in a car 50 years ago. And 50 years after Marighella, a councilwoman in Rio de Janeiro, also a black woman, a left-winger, a human rights woman, was killed in a car, probably by state agents as well. So the violence that the state in Brazil was committing against the revolutionaries back in the 60s is the same that they are doing in the favelas against black people. It's the same thing. They are torturing, they are killing, you know, with no, the police in Brazil is not trained to protect the citizen. It's trained to protect the state. And the state chooses who are their enemies. And of course, the populations that are in danger are, of course, people that live in the favelas. You know, black people, black young people that are getting killed daily in the favelas. There's a genocide of black people committed by the state in Brazil. Native Brazilian people are getting their lands are going to be taken. You know, LGBT community. You know, we have a president that's openly homophobic and openly racist, and Brazil elected him.
I have one special person we need to mention here. She calls Fátima Toledo.
Yeah.
She's really tough, guys. She's really fucking tough. She's tough because I just have 8 days with her. But my advantage, she know me from City of God and Lead Squad, and she would work with me in very short time too. And I'm really trusting her because I'm interested in her process. I'm really like her process. I know it suffer a lot. We suffer a lot, but I like because the result is really good. It's very good.
There was a preparation that we almost didn't see each other. And in my case, it was very different because if you don't know, my child is black, she's African, and what I did the most was to hit this guy and to curse him. But cursing, you know, you can just curse. We really offended each other, and it had to come from your gut. We really hurt each other, for real. And it's very hard for me to say.
Ela conseguiu
because
através do amor
Fátima managed through love
fazer com que eu conseguisse falar isso para esse cara,
to make me say these
odiando
things,
ele.
hating him.
No começo eu falava, eu não vou conseguir.
At first I said, I won't
Não vou
manage.
conseguir chamar esse cara das coisas que eu tenho que chamar.
I can't call this guy the names I have to do. I can't hate him.
A minha filha é negra, minha
My
filha
daughter
passou
is
por isso
black.
no Brasil,
She's been through
inclusive.
that in Brazil.
E eu consegui através do amor,
And I managed
porque eu sei da importância desse filme.
to do it through love. Because I
minha
know the
filha no
importance of this film for my daughter in the future.